What the fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Welcome to Preach Kev Preach with Rashad. We are the Prophets. Here's another episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to us, man. Rashad, what's going up, bro?
What it do, man? Back again, another Thursday in full effect.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, man.
Hot pod summer.
Hot pod summer. It's hot, boy. It's hot. Hey. Before we get into it, if you're itching to watch live box lacrosse, we got you covered right here on 12 Ounce Sports. The 12 Ounce Sports Cup is going on this month in Alberta, and we've got all the live action from the Great White North. Cody Jansen and the team will have the call as 5 teams battle it out on the floor for the 12 Ounce Sports Cup. That'll be handed out at the end of July 28th. So make sure y'all check that out on 12 Ounce Sports.
Oh yeah, man. We back again sooner than expecting. We did our thing on Tuesday night, so we back again, man.
Yeah, back again, man. Hey, that was a good little live show we did. Shout out to our guys Perry over there with Unwrapped. Hey, so before our guests come on, they'll be on a little later. Did you see what is actually going on, man? 2020 is just, oh man, I'm sick tired of it.
What's going on up there in DC with them? Well, can we even call them the Redskins anymore? Like, I don't see what's going on with them. Schefter dropping the reports about the sexual harassment stuff up there in DC with the Redskins, or Daniel Snyder's team, or Washington's team, whatever we can call them now, since they're not using that name anymore. I'm not sure what we can call them.
Yo, man,
there's a lot going on, man.
for right now, I'm gonna call them Haskin and them boys over there, cause
Allen and them boys.
Hey, watch out! watch out! Hey, watch out! But no, man, it's first of all, I hear Jay Gruden out here getting down right here with the cheerleaders, and hey, 2020, nothing surprised me no more.
Scouts and a lot of people involved in that.
Yo, nothing surprised me anymore. I think that's the big takeaway for 2020. Nothing surprised me.
But pretty soon, Ronald Rivera gonna be coach, GM,
owner,
everything. Like that little meme video, linebacker, safety, cornerback.
Oh boy, Ron Rivera, the Isaiah Simmons of coaches, man. He can do it all. That's pretty funny. Man, you seen all this, all the Madden stuff going on, and it's kind of sparked some debates. Was Kamara too low? Minkah Fitzpatrick being left off the top safeties in the league. You got I took offense to Danielle Hunter not being a top defensive end in the league. He got the quickest to the most sacks, the fastest to the sack, whatever the number was, but he got there fast and he dominated. And what else you had? You had I think everybody was mad that Saquon was low, and I was like, man, Madden about to get canceled.
That's the thing with lists. It'll never satisfy everybody.
Right.
And then the ratings are normally predicated off of the person's most recent season, or in the case of like a Breeze or a Brady, they still have like their name value. So that's why they're still like it with 90 and 92, something like 93.
Hey, I saw.
So like certain people gonna still hold that name value, but Mahomes dominated 99, McCaffrey dominated 99. Gilmore is considered the best corner in the league, 99. We know Aaron Donald's freak of nature, so he's 99. But then after that, Saquon spent most of the year injured, so of course they're gonna lower him, stuff like that. Which is, it's somewhat fair, but again, it's somewhat not, just because he's such a talented player.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that when you looking at I think we can go ahead and dome Kyler Murray as this podcast, the Prophet's favorite quarterback. I think you love him. I know I love him. And he was
Murray,
I don't think he was above it. I don't think he was
his weight. He just owned the Cardinals. He on his way though.
I think he was less than an 80. That's what I seen. I'm like, bro, you come on, man.
It's all good, man. we talk about it all the time. The 49ers were the best team in that I say conference, that division from 11 to 13. Seattle from 13 to 16. The Rams had their little 2-year window. They made the Super Bowl. So Cardinals should and could be coming. So
yeah, I'm about to say so.
Surprised.
I'm about to say, what about the 49ers though coming back? I'm about to say, do you think the 49ers can keep it for another 2 or 3 years? I mean, you know, if you pay Jimmy.
That's the thing about NFC. Like, if you just look at the recent history of NFC, the team that normally makes the Super Bowl, they kind of take a step back that next season.
Yeah.
So, but I believe in the 49ers just because we believe in Kyle Shanahan and they're paying the right people, and then everybody else is on their cheap rookie deals. So, like, it all can kind of balance out roster-wise, transitioning-wise, stuff like that. So, they should never win less than 10 games, at least not for the next three years, probably.
Yeah.
But see, Seattle's the one that's got to be worried about. We love Russ, but they Russell bust in Seattle. So,
they've been Russell bust for a while. That's crazy.
I do not want anything to happen to Russ. I love Russ, one of my favorite QBs in the league. I want him to see him healthy his whole career. But, you know, him and Pete Carroll have been kind of duct taping everything for a minute.
I would say, yeah, those two, and can't ever get Bob Wagner. He's always first pro linebacker, so can't get him either. All right, so big news, and we'll probably reiterate this when guests hop on. Another running back. I feel like we talk about this every single week. Like every single week, somebody else is up for the docket, man. And Derrick Henry, man, he got paid. What do you think about it?
It's one of those weird things, man. You should not pay the running back. I mean, I understand he's a beast on the field. What he did last year was phenomenal. Led the league in rushing. He basically carried them in the playoffs because, you know, they were just kind of Tannehill, hand it off, and we're going to just keep bulldozing, eating the clock up, grinding teams out. So for his skill set and for what he can do, he in the past, too, he's earned the money. But should you give it to him is a different thing.
Right.
But I guess, you know, with Tennessee, they're thinking, we hardly ever get anybody to come here anyway. Why not just keep what we have? And if they, you know, bring in a nice little rookie scale RB, you would kind of be hoping that guy turns into the next Derrick Henry the same way he was behind DeMarco Murray. You know, you can kind of start getting that 2-for-1 type of price point then. But $25 million, 50-25 guaranteed. When I saw it, it kind of stung for a second, but considering just it is Tennessee situation, I mean, they might have just kind of messed themselves up though, because now all your money going to Tannehill and Henry, so you banking on some more 9-7 seasons, I guess.
that's all we know the Titans for is that being 9-7. I think the thing, so they drafted Darrynton Evans out of App State, 4.4 speed. Passing back, so it's kind of like you let Deion Lewis go, you draft him. So they didn't draft the Derrick Henry replacement.
The bell cow.
Right. So you kind of knew that. Okay, well they want to keep Derrick Henry. So like we said, yeah, we say the rule is don't pay running backs because you can get away with the running back by committee, but we know that all of it is justified. You can justify it some type of way, and I guess right now, Jonnu Smith, nothing. AJ Brown, nothing. Corey Davis, even though he's not coming back, he get paid nothing.
Corey out of there, man.
I'm about to say
good promise.
Man, I done gave up on the Corey Davis train. I've been wrong every single year. I'm done. I'm not falling for that. I was about to say they gave Adam Humphries like $8 million, something like that. I think last year. So as a slot receiver, so it's coming. That's really their highest paid weapon, and that's when you're saying that way, you're like, okay, well we can get away with paying a Tannehill and paying a Derrick Henry for now. We let Jack Conklin go, so he's going to Cleveland. So we drafted his replacement kind of like. So it's kind of like you can get away with it. They being smart in that sense. If we're gonna pay Derrick Henry, we got to go cheap somewhere.
Gotta let some other stuff go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, so you like I said, you can justify every situation, and Tennessee, to me, I think it's not they're done, but it's like they done because like they're not going above. They
didn't really elevate by signing everybody they did sign or keep what they kept. They didn't really move the needle as far as like, all right, Tannehill's gonna be better than what he was. I mean, that was outside of
That
What I
was
think it was a year you had him in. It was a year you had him in fantasy like 2016. Like I saw like that year. This was the best career year he's had. So
yeah.
you're banking on him performing at the same level for the next 2, 3, 4 of his contract, and you're banking on Henry doing what he did this year every year. But I mean, it's the NFL. Once people kind of figure out what you do, you're kind of just going to be figured out, and they'll still just be around that 8-8, 9-7 mark.
Right, exactly.
Because after QB, Tannehill is. I like, I was on bandwagon for this year, but as far as like the Mariota thing and everything, but as just a QB, just him, talented guy, but for the most part, he's kind of always been a below 500 QB.
Hey, welcome to the show, my guy Rudy, man. What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing? Hey, the backdrop, blame Chris Galler because we're going with that whole green screen thing. So
It's all good, man. Good to see. Hey, it's good to see you, though.
Same here.
We're
Good
glad
to
to
see
have
you guys, man.
Hope you're staying safe, bro.
It's it's good to be on with you guys, man. Always enjoy being on with you guys, and we're gonna see each other again. I'm sure this Sunday too.
Oh yeah. So we were just talking about your boy, one of your running backs on your dynasty team. Rudy's part of our dynasty league that we got going on, and he got
a trade right now.
he got.
I've been trying to get somebody to trade with me, but nobody wants to trade.
Hey, me and Rudy made a great trade last year. I had to get Dak. He had Pat Mahomes, man. He was over there hogging all the quarterbacks. I had to go get Dak from him. But your guy Derrick Henry on your team got paid. So how do you feel from a fantasy perspective of having this guy for another 4 years in Tennessee? And what do you think about the contract?
I like the contract. The contract to me is it's right there where it needs to be. It's not going to break the bank for them. Henry's had productive years the past couple of years, so it's money well worth it. For Tennessee, it's a great running back. It's not, like I said, it's not going to break the bank at all. It's not a Zeke Elliott or any type of contract like that, I think. So I mean, it makes sense for them. They're a power team. They're a power running team. You got the back that's going to get you the yards, and he's going to be. I think he's going to have another good 2-3 years from here on out. But great contract. I have no issues with it at all. I mean, plus because he's on my fantasy team, it's a bonus. So that makes him a winner right there, even though we didn't win last year.
I'm about to say, if you ever get tired of him, I'm gonna send you a trade now.
Well, I mean, it's not that I'm tired of Derek, but you know what, man? I mean, I'm open to any offer that comes across my table for any player. So.
I'm about to say, so we will live stream our rookie draft. This is our very first rookie draft. What pick do you have?
I have the 7th pick.
Okay.
Which is like no man's land.
Yeah. Well, I have no first round picks. Okay. Because I traded it. But nonetheless,
you and Jarrell trading everything.
Hey, he gave me somebody he shouldn't have gave me. I got Allen Robinson out of finesse, so I'm gonna be okay with that. But it's like, so first of all, Rudy, all three of your guys, so Mahomes got paid this year on your dynasty. Your boy Mostert, he tripping. He talking about a raise, and we talked about it last week. He was like, you're not gonna get that. But yeah, you got that insurance with Derrick Henry. But for this rookie draft, I know we don't have a top pick, and maybe one of us might swing a big trade to get it. But who do you think should be the first one in from a dynasty perspective of out of these rookies?
Well, everyone's pointing to what is it, Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Kansas City, who got drafted there.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
A lot of people are pointing that way, but man, you can't really sleep on actually two guys that I like. I mean, as far as receiver goes, you've got a great receiver class, and as drafting at number 7 right there, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, you've got those guys right there. Ruggs as well as another one. But if you want to talk number 1 pick, I guess I'll give it away because I'm not picking number 1 unless something happens. But DeAndre Swift in Detroit, that guy I think is going to fit that system to a T. I think if you're looking at the number 1 pick in dynasty rankings, I love DeAndre Swift as far as, Jonathan Taylor's another one in Indianapolis. I think he can actually come out as a number 1 back there. But DeAndre Swift, he's got Kerryon Johnson, I think, but I think he fits that system really well. So if it's me having the number one pick, which I don't have unless somebody trades me, I would have taken DeAndre Swift to a number one. I can even see, like, as far as running backs, at the number 7 position where I'm at, I'm looking if I can get Cam Akers somewhere in there. I would definitely take him. I've seen everything where he's fallen on a lot of rankings, which surprises me. I mean, no Todd Gurley. Henderson really isn't,
That
proving
special,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Akers is right there for the pickings if you can get him around 7. So for everyone that's listening to your show that's in our league, don't take Cam Akers. Leave him there for me, please.
That's funny.
Yeah, you were kind of going the direction I was going. I like Jonathan Taylor near the top just because of how the Colts are being built. Marlon Mack, he's a good RB, but I don't think they really see him in the long-term plans. And then they have the pass catching back. But I think Taylor, just what he did in college, that lends itself pretty good to NFL translation with the Frank Reich. They want to kind of keep the quarterback, not throwing the ball that many times, kind of balanced out. So I can see Jonathan Taylor being one of the next bell cow backs along the lines of Derrick Henry, like we were talking about. So
Yeah.
if not him, probably Ruggs, but you kind of risk him being double teamed because you got Tyrell Williams, who's solid but not
Always
that
hurt.
kind of always hurt. not really like a tier 2, more like a tier 3 receiver. He had a few good games this past season, but he's more of like a tier 3 receiver than a tier 2. So you risk Ruggs being double and probably shut out some games. I mean, you have Waller, you have Jacobs and stuff like that, but the uncertainty of, I like the guy's skill set. I like Derek Carr, but you don't know who's going to be the QB in Vegas now for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So that's why you kind of got to, hedge your bet a little bit with Ruggs, but the talent is definitely there for Ruggs. So I'm Ruggs or Taylor, depending upon how you view their situation.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking wide receiver. I can give you a really good sleeper on the wide receiver. I mean, Justin Jefferson from Minnesota. I mean, you still got Thielen there. You got rid of Diggs, but Justin Jefferson is a big receiver. I mean, I think out of all the receivers, I think he's going to probably be up there, top 2 in my sense for rookie rankings. You've got great receivers. Ruggs is another one, but like you said, we don't know exactly how that offense is going to lay out for Ruggs. CeeDee Lamb, you still got to compete with Amari Cooper. I mean, they're going to probably use CeeDee more. Yeah, you're going to have to probably use CeeDee in the slot, a lot. So then you're talking about guys like Jerry Jeudy. I mean, is Drew Lock really proven? We don't know yet. So there's still some question marks on some of these top guys. Another guy that you may see jump up on the rankings is a T. Higgins for Cincinnati. I mean, that's another one. And, a question I would like to pose to you guys as far as the fantasy draft comes up this Sunday, I believe. Joe Burrow, do you think someone's going to reach for him in those top 6 picks, 5 picks?
I'm about to say, for the guys who got the QB needy teams, I mean, I can understand it though, because like for example, like when Rudy drafted Mahomes, maybe second round, it was like, man, I would never reach for a quarterback. But you think about it, you got Mahomes, and he's so far he's not going anywhere, and he's going to be QB 1, 2, or 3 as long as he play all 16 games. So I can understand it, and if you believe in Joe, I get it, but yeah. Because the quarterback position is,
I mean, he does have weapons.
He do have the weapons, but I know for me, if I was up there, I need a running back. So I made the championship, and I'm over here. I got the exact starting lineup. I played David Singletary in week 17, Mike Boone from Minnesota, third string running back now. Put in that. And then Washington from Oakland, who I think he left. I think he signed somewhere else this season. But DeAndre Washington, that's terrible. 'Cause I couldn't play Tevin Coleman, Duke Johnson, Jalen Richard. Like y'all, somebody got to help me out. And y'all and Rudy talking about you didn't name like 4 running backs, and they all go first round. I'm done. Like
where are you picking in the second round?
Toward the back, number 11. So
too many trades, man. You got to hold on to some picks.
Yeah, I mean,
only had
I'll
3
give you one.
picks.
If Keyshawn Vaughn is there for Tampa Bay in the second round, which I think he will be, Keyshawn Vaughn is that hit or miss guy, but I think he's going to be a really big hit because Ronald Jones is really the only competition, and Ronald Jones is not.
He better show it. He better show it this year.
He's not RB1 material. Keyshawn Vaughn can go in there. You got Brady come in there.
I'm still holding out hope for my guy Rojo, man.
I'll say, yeah, big
You know,
Rojo
I
fan.
think I think that fits Tampa Bay a lot with Keshawn Vaughn. So I mean, this draft class was so deep that I mean you're gonna get good value just
Oh
about
yeah,
anywhere
yeah,
on
yeah.
any dynasty
Yeah,
league. So
I'm probably gonna have to shop one of these elite receivers I got to go get me to move up because
well, I'm looking for a receiver. So I
oh we might have
mean,
to talk a trade. Oh yeah, this see this is the beautiful this is the beauty of
Perfect
talk.
time right
Hey,
here.
this is the beauty of talk, man. This is beautiful. Hey, so we know fantasy is all about like running backs and stuff like that.
mm,
So with the running back market, you got my guy Dalvin Cook. He wants to get paid. Derrick Henry just got paid. You got Mixon next. You got Alvin Kamara, Leonard Fournette, Aaron Jones after his record-setting touchdown record last year. Ken Drake just got the transition tag, I think, this past season, so he's up. And then you got the Lindsey and Marlon Mack, who Broncos paid Gordon to come there, so he's probably not going to be there. And then Jonathan Taylor got drafted to the Colts, so Marlon Mack probably won't be there. Do you see? So our rule, we don't pay running backs,
you don't pay the running
but
backs.
it's like all these guys coming up, and these are the guys, these are the crop that got drafted because teams didn't pay running backs. Now it was their turn to get paid. Now, who do you think out of those guys like deserve that McCaffrey and Zeke tier level money, or do you think everybody should fall right where Derrick Henry was about 12 and a half?
You know, I'm gonna probably upset a lot of people and say everyone, even Kamara, deserves that Henry money. For me, Ezekiel Elliott was just overpaid. I mean, they just stupidly gave him that money. So I don't even consider Zeke's contract even worth it. McCaffrey's on a different level. I mean, McCaffrey is, punt returner, kick returner, running back, wide receiver, catch out of the backfield. He's everything. So when you're paying him, as like he's a multi-position type of player. Now Kamara, he doesn't do punt returns, he doesn't do kick returns. He can't catch out of the backfield. But I just think he hasn't really shown anything last season. He didn't really show a whole lot to where you can say, okay, you deserve McCaffrey money, you deserve Zeke money. This draft class, I mean not the draft class, the running back class coming out for 2021, with the exception of Henry now, it's solid and it's loaded.
Yeah.
Are teams going to overpay for these guys? Yeah. There's going to be a team they're going to overpay for Dalvin Cook. They're going to overpay for a Kamara, whether it be their own teams or somebody different. Guys like a Marlon Mack, they're going to get probably less than Henry because, again, they're still not proven. And, even like a Kenyon Drake, Drake just really came out last year with the Arizona Cardinals. He had decent seasons, but his breakout was with the Cardinals towards the end of the year. If I give you one player, I really like Joe Mixon a lot. I mean, Joe Mixon.
That's my guy.
Yeah, Joe Mixon, out of all these guys, would probably, if he has another solid year, I think he deserves to get paid, not necessarily Zeke or McCaffrey money, but definitely more than Henry. So I would like Mixon, if he has a solid year, to get more than Derrick Henry. The other guys, I still, Dalvin just had a good season, but he's been injured. Leonard Fournette hasn't had that great season that people expected him coming out of LSU. Again, Aaron Jones just had a good season, so they're banking on those last seasons. It's what you do this season that's going to count. Out of all of them, Joe Mixon is the one that I think that might actually see the most money out of all of them.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, he's probably the most talented guy, just from what he's done and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably amongst the best 5 running backs in the game when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have the issue of the injuries and stuff like that, you really don't want to just invest in Dalvin Cook. That's why I'm with you, man. I know coming out of college, going to the draft, Mixon had his transgressions and, stuff like that. But, I mean, that's a guy I'll draft every year in fantasy just because of his skill set, what he can do. Now, granted, the Bengals haven't given him a great O-line because if you drafted him in fantasy this past season, Mixon was terrible.
Right.
Because just the O-line was nothing, and they were, you bit Dalton, put in, the other QB and stuff like that. So the Bengals kind of had a rough go. But when you're thinking, all right, we can pair rookie scale Joe Burrow with potentially paid Mixon, Boyd, Higgins, maybe AJ Green stays and retires there, or even if he goes, you still got the potential of a Boyd, Ross, Higgins. Mm-hmm. You could be looking at a pretty historic, elite offense right now. So I'm with you, man. I would do Joe Mixon. And some people forget about Kamara. He's not a bell cow back. They had Ingram there, so you can't pay him like a bell cow back when he Now, PPR league, he gonna get you 8 carries, 75 yards, probably the 7 catches, 60-something yards. So in a PPR league, fantasy wise, he's dangerous.
But
But
real
as
life,
but NFL wise, you cannot pay him like an RB1 because he's not an RB1.
exactly. Hey, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back.
That's what's needed to get to that next level. I'm Rob Pennell, and I'm going to teach you how to be an offensive machine.
All right, we
Hey,
are
Rudy.
back. Welcome Caroline to the show. What's going on?
Hey, I'm glad to be back. Thank you guys for having me.
No
What
doubt.
up?
No doubt. No doubt.
Of course, we gotta have a dream team in the building.
You already know. Let's go.
Hey, so before we continue, so y'all got a new show coming together. One, can y'all just go over that real quick and just tell how it all came to go to be.
I'm gonna let Rudy Campos.
Yeah,
Rudy
we
start.
definitely we've got a show coming out. We're gonna announce the date on Monday, the actual start date. So it's gonna be an hour a week. You know, we're gonna start off slow, give everybody an hour a week. We'll accept the date will come out. We're really excited to announce it. It's a new sports talk show here in San Antonio. We'll give the name, we'll give the time, we'll give everything on Monday. But basically, how it came about was, Carolina put a gun to my head and said, we need to get this radio show thing going. So let's make it happen. I cried like a little baby and said, okay, yes, I'll do it. So that's how it came about. No, I mean, we've been doing some podcast stuff like that, and she's got a lot of radio experience. She's a rock the mic champion. She's got tons of radio experience. I've only been on the radio one time, but it was for 2 hours and it was great. So I had got a taste of it, and we just came together, man, and we decided San Antonio and pretty much everyone else needs another sports talk show to listen to. We're just gonna make it different and make it fun, and we definitely want to get our sports family here, which includes you guys. Eventually call in maybe a couple times or something, and get y'all on the radio too, because we both understand we came from the bottom on up like everybody else is. So we want to include everybody as we can. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how it started. Carol, you got anything you want to add to it?
Yeah. Yeah. So the true story is that no, I'm just kidding. So what had happened was, I've always been into radio. I won the Rock the Mic competition, and that was a really hard competition for me to win. It was just going up against a whole bunch of different people, and I ended up winning that competition, and it's been quite a roller coaster for me. Last year was definitely a huge emotional roller coaster for me. And I had a situation where I kind of was in a position where I felt really low, and I stayed in bed all day crying because something had happened to me on the radio. And, when I cried it all out, that's when I realized, I really love this. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, you don't really love something until you cry over like a radio show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why am I crying? So if you stay in bed all day, just sad and stuff. So that's kind of when like the motivation was like, okay, I'm over it. Like, it's time for me to have my own show. And I really want a strong co-host, somebody that's really, number one, loyalty is important to me.
Right.
Somebody who has good takes is important to me as well. Somebody how I can trust to carry the microphone and is not going to put us in a position to look crazy on the air. So the answer for me was to ask Rudy to be my co-host. There's a lot of people that I could have potentially, thought about bringing on, and I felt like Rudy was the best fit for me. We've done a lot of podcasts together. I put a gun to someone else's head, and I was like, look, I've been in the radio for like 3 years. What do I need to do to get my own show? Like, I'm tired of this.
Right.
So then I got an answer. The answer was basically, give yourself a goal, give yourself a deadline. And I was like, okay, there hasn't been a woman who's had her own radio show in San Antonio for almost 10 years, since 2011. That was Dawn Bartlett Hall. And I feel like I was, I feel like I had, I feel like at this point, a lot of executive producers send me, direct messages, and they told me they would have been giving me a show. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm ready to pull the trigger. We went in, we recorded some demos, and the producers really liked us, and they were like, we would love to have you guys on. So I was like, all right, bet. So we gave ourselves a deadline, like my mentor had told me, and we're ready to roll out. We're ready to bring something new to San Antonio. We're ready to bring something different. You know what I mean? Like, we just want to have a really good time with everybody. And we just want to have fun. And I just remember what it was like, on the come up, always just wanting somebody to just give me a chance. And I'm glad somebody finally gave me a true chance to show my talent. And I felt like Rudy was the perfect co-host for me because, I know how bad he wants it too. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that passion is there with him, and I feel like he's the perfect person to bring on, and I know what that's like. So when we have our show, we want to showcase not only major talent, but talent like you guys as well, people that we know, really want this.
Right.
We want to give you guys a platform so you can use it, for your reel or whatever you got to do. So that's kind of what happened, how everything came into fruition. And we're going to have a really good time with everybody. So we cannot wait. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, let me tell you. It's not, it's a lot of work. We're putting in a lot of OT. I've had, I didn't sleep at all last night. Last week, I didn't sleep at all either. Just, trying to make moves, trying to handle my business. But we're getting it done, and you guys are really gonna love what we have. So we're really excited.
Hashtag Team No Sleep.
Yeah, we're announcing the time and the station on Monday, and we are more than excited. So yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun, and like I said, congratulations to y'all on that accomplishment.
Thank you.
Gracias.
All right, so while we're here, let's transition to the NBA real quick. Talking about the NBA bubble. So, being from San Antonio, I have 3 Spurs fans on here right now, and it's kind of crazy. Drive me a little crazy. But what do y'all think about this whole? First of all, the bubble in general, and then kind of like the rumors with Popovich and stuff about going to the Nets and stuff.
Well, bubble wise, I've kind of been against it, majority of the time because, it's about money. We know. I mean, I want to see basketball, but I mean, I know that in the bubble, I don't know how safe it is, and so far it's been pretty safe from what I understand. They've had a couple players that have contracted COVID, but it hasn't been a whole lot. So I'm kind of opening up more and more about the NBA coming back. I just saw the TBT tournament, how they ran things, and it went really smooth. It was a great thing that I saw on TV. So I'm thinking the NBA it's going to be fine. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the bubble goes, it doesn't look like anybody's really hurting there. I mean, I hear the food's better than what they thought. I mean, you're getting free rides at Disney. I don't mind being in the bubble for getting all that.
As far as the bubble, for me, I think there's people that criticize, the whole entire bubble situation because there's people that are making the violations and things like that, and then there's a snitch hotline, which I'm really a big fan of following the snitch hotline right now because I want to see how many people are like down to snitch on their teammates or like other teams, and I'm like trying to figure out who's snitching on who, and that's kind of like something that I'm really into right now.
I'm not gonna say it's Chris Paul. But...
Shout out Chris.
Shout out to Chris Paul. No, I'm just kidding. We don't know who it is, but
Chris.
I think about that situation and I'm like, okay, it's kind of like fair game because like when it comes to that whole snitch thing, like every year for the playoffs, you always hear like basketball enthusiasts, they always talk about how they have the best opportunity. Like if they win X amount of games, they're going to be lined up like the Spurs. If they win and get X amount of games, they're going to be lined up with this team and they have a better chance at winning. So I'm wondering if like there's players that are in the bubble and they're like, if we snitch on these people, and they get quarantined for several more weeks, we have a better chance of making the playoffs or we have a better chance of getting a better seed. So I'm just wondering if people are doing that because, and I feel like people are, like, I feel like players are doing that because all is fair in love and war. So I think that, you know, people are utilizing the snitch hotline to their advantage and that's kind of grimy, but at the same time, like, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I feel like it's grimy, but it's interesting to, you know, pay attention to. And then as far as like the amenities and all those type of things, I know that the players, there's a lot of reports that the staff is working around the clock. They're working really hard to accommodate to these players and things like that. So I think that, you know, the whole Disney Resort thing, they're doing a great job. And then there's the complaints coming in and people are saying that they're ungrateful, you know, for complaining about that stuff. And they should, I don't know. I feel like complaining is just a natural human habit. Like, so I think it's like a natural human habit. Like, I don't understand why they're being criticized for complaining. Like, we all have our jobs that we love, and we have our complaints too. We're blessed to have jobs, but we complain too. That doesn't, I mean, that might come off as ungrateful, but it's a natural human emotion. And then as far as you had asked about Greg Popovich, you want to talk about that or you want to wait? I could talk about Pop all day long.
All right, Rashad, let's see what Rashad got to say. Then
Rashad go. Okay.
Man, I'm just mad that Russ and Harden got COVID. They might miss the Rockets up a little bit. What you guys think about that?
Man,
it's sad that the two best players on one team got it, but I think you got 3 games first before the actual bubble season starts, so I think they'll be fine. They'll be okay. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to put a setback on them. I mean, we're still going to see James take 6 steps to the basket. We're going to still see Russ throwing his hands up, one in the foul when there's nobody around him. We're still going to see those same 2 guys doing all their antics. I don't think COVID's going to affect them at all. They should be ready by the time the actual bubble season goes.
If it don't get worse for them, they will.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll say before y'all let y'all talk about the Pop thing. You know the whole rumor about it. I guess it makes sense. But I guess like you talked about loyalty, and you know, will Pop show loyalty in this? Okay, I don't have Tim Duncan anymore. I don't have David Robinson, Tony Parker, Ginobili. Now Kawhi's gone. Like, is it time for my behind to hit the roads too? Or because, you know, if you go to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie, he continues this winning instead of, you know, most, you know, when you look at coaches, can you at the greatness, can you rebuild it and continue greatness? And I guess that's what people kind of want to see. You know, Phil Jackson had this little lull with Kobe without before Paul Gasol got there, so it's kind of like, you know, can Pop find this lull and get back to greatness? I want, and that's kind of what it is. Like, do he stay with San Antonio and ride it out, or I'm old, let me go to Brooklyn and see if I can win the championship?
Man, you know, I'll be honest, as a San Antonio Spurs fan, and you know, we cover them down here in Carolina, and I wouldn't be upset if Pop decided to go to Brooklyn or somewhere to coach. It wouldn't affect me at all. I mean, will he do it? I seriously doubt it. Now, there's some people that have said some stuff because recently his home here in San Antonio was up for sale. And I don't know if it actually did sell, but it was up for sale. Mm-hmm. So that kind of added to the rumors about him maybe going to coach somewhere else. Honestly, man, I just think that this whole bubble thing and what happened with the league this year, I see him more riding off in the sunset and retiring after this season rather than going to coach somewhere else. The Brooklyn Nets, he has ties. Sean Marks. Hey, you want to win a title? One of the best places to come out in the East is in Brooklyn, obviously with Durant, you know, and Kyrie Irving. You still got some youth there with Dinwiddie is there. But, I mean, do I see him going to Brooklyn? No. Would I be mad? No. I mean, Phil Jackson went from the Bulls, and we just all saw the Last Dance and what happened there. He went to the Lakers. He even tried to build up the Knicks again, stuff like that. You can't really blame a person for trying to continue the winning habits and the winning ways, but I don't see him going to Brooklyn. I think what Sean Mark said, it's basically false. We're not bringing Pop over here. I think he's telling the truth. I think Pop is going to just remain with the Spurs and then kind of just go off. I think he sold his house because I really feel like he's getting ready to retire. Maybe move back to Colorado because he was in the Air Force Academy. Maybe move somewhere else, in the United States and just kind of sit back, relax, and watch the NBA on the couch like all retired people do.
I'm with you on that. I think that I would love. I mean, it would be great to see him go to the Nets. He has. I think he's already. Is he the highest paid coach or one of the highest paid coaches at the moment? And the Nets have they have the money to pay him way more than what the Spurs are giving him. And it sounds like a really attractive deal. There's all that talent over there with the Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Both of those players have said that they really love Pop. Who doesn't, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's a possibility that he could go over there. And I think that's a fun idea to flirt with because there's no sports news going on. But I think the reality of the situation is I don't like to talk. I mean, I don't like to bring up personal stuff when it comes to the players. And we really don't know much about Pop's private life. But his wife passed away about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And that was I don't know if it was a sudden passing. But since that, I feel like that in addition to, everything's changing around him. The big three are no longer there in San Antonio. And then the Spurs are focusing more on the youth. And he's working on building up Becky Hammond, Tim Duncan as an assistant coach. I really don't see him leaving San Antonio and going anywhere else. I don't see it. As far as loyalty is concerned, I think that he's going to remain loyal to San Antonio because Tim Duncan was loyal to San Antonio. Manu Ginobili, they all sync with the ship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think the captain's going to want to sync with the ship too. You know what I'm saying? You go down with your ship, and I feel like that's what Greg Popovich is going to do. I think he's going to ride off into the sunset, and his home is being listed. I think his home is being listed not because he's going to go somewhere else, but because maybe he wants to downgrade from, everything that he went through in his personal life, and he don't want to be in that home where his family was at. I mean, that's how I would feel, but I don't know what he's feeling. But I don't see him leaving San Antonio. And I honestly, I think he's over this shit. Like this whole COVID thing, the whole, he's tired of he's got to build up the youth. It was easier for him to work with, a strong player like Tim Duncan. But, now he has to, right now his coaching the Spurs coaching has always been catering to the strengths of the players that are currently on the team. They've turned into more ISO ball. And they've improved on that end, but it's just like a lot of work on his end. And I don't see him. I think he's going to retire. I don't want him to, but I think he will.
Yeah, I think that whole Kawhi thing might have took a little bit out of him as far as just like his energy for the game, because now you don't have a star player, so you're basically just treading water come playoff time. So, but what if he did go to Brooklyn? That could potentially make him the all-time GOAT over Phil if he won a title with KD and Kyrie.
It's fun to think about it. I mean, if he wants another title, Brooklyn would be definitely a place to go. But I still think you've got better teams out there than Brooklyn, so it's going to be a little tougher for him to get, more titles with Brooklyn. Will that attract? But then here's the other thing for both you guys and even Carolina. He's had so much trouble getting players to come down to San Antonio and play for him. If he goes to Brooklyn, can he get that third wheel to play for him to go with Kyrie or KD? We don't know. I mean, we don't know because players are all day. I love Pop. Pop's a great person, great coach, all this. Well, then you ask him on the back end, why don't you come play for Pop in San Antonio? You always hear crickets. So
yeah,
is it, that's another thing. If he goes to Brooklyn, can he get that third wheel to be able to compete with, the Lakers and the Clippers and stuff like that on the West Coast? So we don't know. But I mean, it would be fun to see him coaching KD and Kyrie. I mean, definitely would be fun.
Well, there's rumors that DeMar DeRozan has that option out after this final year or this 1 year left before he has the option to leave, and there's been speculation that he could possibly be a good trade for the Brooklyn Nets because he's getting older and then he's good in, offensively, and then he would be there with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and then the Spurs they have the cap space to get somebody young like Dinwiddie, and they're already doing their rebuild. So if that were to happen and then Greg Popovich goes over to the Brooklyn Nets, I think that would be a good place for him. But the difference that you have brought up Phil Jackson as far as like getting more rings. I don't think that's Coach Pop's. I don't know Coach Pop. I'm over here talking about like I know him.
It's a homeboy.
But I know that's my homeboy.
Yeah.
But I feel like Coach Pop, the way that he talks, like I don't really think he's chasing more rings. Like when Phil Jackson left Chicago, he was leaving Chicago because Jerry Krause pushed him out. And, he was a great coach, but Jerry Krause was like making things difficult for him. The upper management was making his life hard. They told him even if he wins all the games of the season, they're still going to get rid of him. And I think that Phil Jackson's motivation to go to the Lakers and win more championships was to be like, I don't want to curse, but mother effer, I don't need you.
Right.
I don't need you. This is a family show. I don't need you. And so I think that was his motivation to become one of the greatest coaches of all time and get more rings. I don't think that Greg Popovich is in that same mind space. He has built, they turn crumbs into bricks. They haven't had high draft picks in 22 years, and they've, been in the playoffs this whole entire time. He's had a great career, and I think and I'm a really big Bulls fan, but and I think Phil Jackson is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But I think that Greg Popovich has an edge up on him because, like I said, he's able to turn crumbs into bricks. And Phil Jackson had Kobe and Shaq, and he had Jordan and Pippen. And the Spurs, they had to build from the ground up. So I think that he's already had a successful career. So I don't see him, chasing rings. Now, if he did, that'd be great. But I don't see him chasing rings and going to the Nets. I think he's gonna retire.
And I'll say there's 2 points y'all brought up, Rudy, about about getting people to come to San Antonio. I think that's where he kind of quote unquote messed up, and I say this because the Lakers were willing to give you, Ingram, Lonzo, and Hart, and yes, you got DeRozan, and you took a project on Jacob Yotto, but it's like. We see what Ingram has done now, and we see what Lonzo can be, and even Josh Hart is a good role player. And I felt like, yes, the Lakers and the history of the Lakers versus Spurs, I get it. I get that part. But when you're talking about getting a star to come, we haven't seen it. And I think the best signing y'all ever had was Steven Jackson, I would say.
Well, I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge is the biggest star to come to San Antonio. Before that, I mean, Derek Anderson was probably the biggest one to come free agency. So
yeah,
maybe I would even say maybe a Richard Jefferson. I mean, he came down, but outside of LaMarcus Aldridge, we haven't had an all-star say, hey, I want to go to San Antonio and play, with the Spurs. No matter how they sell this place of San Antonio, I mean, it's calm, it's cool, it's collective, it's everything good. Players love being here because they don't get bothered.
Right, I like that.
There's just something about coming to San Antonio. You have to point at the possible front office or coaching staff. I mean, people want to play. People say, I want to play for Pop. But then, like I said, they don't really want to play for Pop. Why don't you come down? You can build, you could have easily built, something around LaMarcus Aldridge, not necessarily getting superstars, but just getting a few stars to come down here to play. The whole Kawhi thing, you brought it up. If the Lakers trade rumor was true, or it was Ingram, Hart, couple of first round draft picks to go along with either, I think it was either Lonzo Ball or Kuzma or Ball or somebody else in there. That's something you don't really pass up. I mean, Ingram is starting to come into his own now. You get a guy like Kuzma. I mean, that would have been fantastic for the Spurs. Even the Clipper deal, where you got the 12th and 13th pick to go along with Tobias Harris, that was being rumored. I mean, I think what they did was they waited too long and figured we're gonna make this guy sweat and we're gonna get what we want, and they did it. Those deals that were perfect, they got passed up. They were like, oh, they're not on the table anymore. We got a better deal over here. We got a better offer over here. So we had to settle. And when I say settle, I mean that in the nicest way. We had to settle for DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl. I mean, I think we're about to lose DeRozan maybe after next season because he may opt in. I don't think he's going to get 28 million anywhere else, a year. So I think he'll opt in, play with the Spurs one more year. But then you're going to be on the verge of losing both LMA and DeRozan in next summer's free agency. So yeah, it's kind of a lose-lose situation on the Kawhi deal, but just got to keep it in the past and hopefully that our youth that we've drafted comes up big for us soon here.
Yeah, and Carolina, I love that Dinwiddie and probably Jared Allen because Spurs got enough of damn guards as it is. Get Jared Allen for some defense over there. That wouldn't be, I mean that's the best you can do, and that won't be bad. Kind of switch gears a little bit before we get out of here. 10 minutes left. What are everybody's situation or deal about the team in Washington? I'm gonna call them Haskin and them boys. Well, what do y'all think about the change coming around? But then also, what do you think the name should be?
Dang, I'm a big Falco fan, so I like the Sentinels from, when they had with I can't remember the Replacements from the movie. I like the Sentinels name. I would go with that name. I've heard other things. There was one. I think I saw one of you guys posted on Twitter. We gotta help me with the name that y'all posted on. I do like it though.
The Red Tails or
Red
Tails, that's what it
Tails,
is.
yeah.
I do. I really like that name. There's just ways you can go with it, man. I mean, a lot of ways you can go with it. I've heard even they're trying to buy out the Washington Generals name from the Harlem Globetrotters. So we'll see. And then after the news coming out today that broke,
Lord.
we have no idea what's going to happen in Washington now. So, yeah, I mean, as far as name goes, I'm with Sentinels, Red Tails, and the Generals. I mean, those three I think fit really well. Out of all three, I do like the Red Tails. That was a really good one. So that's got my vote.
I'm gonna be really honest with y'all. I really don't care. I don't care what their name is gonna be. It don't mean nothing to me. Just get rid of the Redskins name. It's just really funny how the press releases are getting rid of the Redskins name. The Redskins this, the Redskins they keep saying the Redskins name in all their press releases all day long.
Yeah.
It's like an offensive name and they keep running with that name, and it's just funny to me how they keep mentioning the Redskins in their press releases and they know it's offensive. So I don't care, but I do have to start caring because they're fighting for the trademark right now. It's a big secret what the name is going to be. And, Vegas is taking, bets right now on what the name is going to be. And I really have to start doing my research. So I got to figure out which one I'm going to take because I'm trying to, flip a brick, in the on Bovada. So I got to figure out I really like the Red Tails though. That one's really cute to me. I mean, not cute, but it's really, sounds real savage. And I really like that one. So I like the Red Tails. That's the one I picked. And it seems like the Redskins are a hot mess right now, especially like you guys said, with the allegations today of the females or the women saying that they're victims of sexual harassment. It's just a big,
a big mess.
A big mess. Somebody did brujeria on them, and they're going through a lot right now. So, yeah, I got to figure it out.
That scared me. You saying it.
Yeah. Y'all gotta tell me.
The podcast after this,
y'all have to tell me what y'all think it's gonna be because I'm gonna trust y'all and I'm gonna put money on it and I hope I win big.
Oh wow! I'm gonna leave that up to you guys, man. Not me.
How about I say? I
That's really. A lot of faith.
How about I say? Rashad, you got a good one.
I like the DC Defenders though.
Yeah, I'm about to say you like that one a lot.
That's a good one.
Babe, my guy Vince McMahon, XFL lost.
Red Tails is kind of going to the other extreme as far as Redskins is expensive to the Indians, but Red Tails is going far left of African Americans. So it's are you just doing it because of the times we're in or what? So to me, that's a little bit too far left. So I would just call up Vince McMahon, buy that DC Defenders and call it a day.
You know what? I think you might be onto something because they are fighting for the trademark. And what if the trademark that they're fighting for is the Defenders trademark? With the XFL, that could be it. I mean, that's a good guess.
Yeah, Vince, he'll take a royalty check.
I'm about to say, sound like
Feel
you about
that
to
beat
place
down
your
bad
money.
from ticket
I
sales
know.
anyway.
I'm like, you know what? That don't sound like that might,
sound
might be
like
onto something.
That sounds like a good bit. Yeah.
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 Or
Whatever.
Triple H to somebody.
I'm about to say, whatever they do, it just. I mean, it took FedEx.
Unmute your mic, bro.
Oh, I'm muted. I'm muted. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they hear me. It took FedEx Field. It took Nike, and it took, I forgot who else it was, to say we're gonna pull everything for y'all to change it. They've been talking about this for years, and Dave Snyder saying, no, I'm not doing it. So, it's finally about time. Haskin and them boys, Washington and the Haskins, y'all just be ready. But I do like DC Defenders though.
Defender sounds really good. I didn't even think about that. Defender sounds really good. Actually, it fits right in. So
Yeah, I'm going all in.
I'm just telling y'all giving her names to put bets on.
I'm about to put it down too.
I'm not
We
giving
all
her
need to
any
put it.
names.
We all need to put a bet. I'm telling you.
Y'all live like hours away. I'm like a few minutes from her, so she can kick my butt at the end of hey, I gave you that name to bet on. It didn't hit. Well, all right, I'm in trouble now.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna
That's
choke
funny.
you out.
That's funny.
No, but you know what? So y'all had mentioned something, and I know we got 10 minutes left, but I'll make it quick. So do y'all think if they were to pick the Red Tails, you think that would be pandering?
I do.
I just think one, it you can keep HTTR. You can keep the colors. Like all the logo designs were great. And I guess during all what we're going through right now with the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that, it's kind of like they be offensive to something for so long, like Rashad said, to the extreme, and now we empower something, which I kind of like, and I like the Washington Nationals, so the DC Defenders kind of tie in together as a city, so it does make sense, and I feel like if you do DC Defenders, you're gonna have to change up everything, color scheme, just because I don't think the burgundy and gold looks right. I just don't think that really fits DC Defenders. So it's like if you want to keep the same type of color, then Red Tails would be a good one. Otherwise, DC Defenders, I like it.
It's gonna be fun to see
slide a
what
little
happens.
$15 on there real quick.
I think if they go with the Red Tails, just because they've changed their ways and all that stuff, I think they not only need to put they also need to match their action or their words with their actions, and they need to hire more minorities in their organization, because that's a huge problem with the NFL is that they lack diversity. So I think they need to put their money where their mouth is if that's the direction that they're trying to go. So I mean that's the next flame that people are going to hold to them. So that's what I got to say.
I would say shout out Ron Rivera.
Riverboat Run, that's for sure.
All right, so we only got 2 minutes left. So basically, I want to thank y'all for joining us on this episode. Monday, do y'all have a time when y'all gonna drop this? So everybody, or it's just a shock? Yeah, element surprise.
We could
we gotta
we could
send
give
it
y'all
out.
the exclusive. What time are we gonna drop it, Rudy?
We decided we were dropping it at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock
Okay.
Central, 12 o'clock y'all's time. on
Okay,
the East Coast.
And
it's gonna be
right
good.
around noon.
Let me go and set my live tweet notifications.
We're gonna shake the table over here in San Antonio. Believe me.
Oh yeah.
All right, hey,
Yeah,
I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna be
word.
listening. Hey, I'm gonna be listening. Guaranteed.
Well, the thing is that y'all can actually listen to it because we're gonna be live on the studio, obviously in San Antonio, but I'll be live through Restream, like on Twitter, Facebook. Carolina's probably gonna be live on her Facebook too. So there's gonna be a ton of ways to listen to it if you're not in San Antonio. Plus, if you miss it, it's gonna be a podcast too. It's gonna be turned into a podcast, so
Gotcha.
that'll be for everyone to listen. I mean, there'll be a way to listen to it either way. So you're good, man. We'll drop a number in there if y'all want to give us a call on the show too.
Y'all gotta give us a call. Y'all gotta give us a call because
Most
we
definitely.
really love you guys. I don't know if
For
we
sure,
should.
man.
Yeah, we really want y'all to call, and we need that we know that you guys are passionate about what y'all do and you guys are intelligent. So I want those are the type of people those are the type of listeners I want. Those are the type of people we want to call in. So y'all got to be, calling in and stuff all day long.
Oh, yeah, we'll do, definitely.
Most definitely.
All right, shout out to 12 Ounce Sports, man, and we'll see y'all next week right here on 12 Ounce Sports.